And Union Minister Piyush Goyal has spoken out on the Snoopgate 2.0. Union Minister has called Apple's alert a malfunction. He said the prima facie, the information is this alert looks like a malfunction. It's been across 150 states. He says others known to me have also received this alert, and not just opposition leaders in India. He says this threat was issued by Apple and on iPhones across 150 nations and not just restricted to India or opposition leaders in India. My colleague Aishwarya spoke to him. Let's listen in.
While the opposition now is asking a lot of questions, there is a statement which has come from Apple and the BJP very clearly saying that there is no kind of spying that's taking place. Piyush Goyal ji, we are now seeing that there is a clarification which has come from Apple saying that there have been people in 150 countries who have got this alert of sorts. The opposition on the other side is saying, they are alleging that there is some kind of spying taking place from the central government and the Bharatiya Janata Party side.
Well, I think it may be interesting to check up whether somebody in the opposition is responsible for this whole charade in the first place. I think Apple has very clearly said this seems to have happened in a lot of countries. I'm told many people who are unrelated to public life has also been receiving these kind of messages. It's quite ridiculous, the entire message. I read what the message was all about. Some people who received this message went to the Apple ID that is quoted on that so-called message, and it is said that if you go on to appleid.apple.com, you'll find on top of it this warning. But well, nothing of that sort is found when you go on appleid.apple.com. So I clearly think it looks to be either a malfunction on Apple or some prank somebody is playing. It's complete nonsense that the opposition leaders are trying to propagate. It'll be very interesting to get to the root of the matter. I believe the Honourable Minister has already clarified the statement, has given out the details, and has asked Apple to join the investigation. Doodh ka doodh, pani ka pani ho jayega.
So I quickly want to cut across to India Today's Polami Saha, tracking this development very closely. Polami, you heard all the opposition leaders who came out all guns blazing in the morning. You saw what Apple responded. You've heard Piyush Goyal, but the government apparently is also having an inquiry conducted. Ashwini Vaishnaw indicated that. Give us details of what this government inquiry would be like.
Well, the government, of course, has confirmed that Minister for Information and Technology, Ashwini Vaishnaw, has confirmed that there will be an inquiry, and it has been ordered already. What the nature of that inquiry will be and how the government is going to go about that is has not been specified. He's not given a specific timeline either, but he said that this will be conducted as soon as possible and in the fastest manner possible, because he said this is a technical issue. All they have to do is go back into the trail, use certain in order to find out exactly what happened and how did in fact these members of the opposition receive these threat notifications. So the government has said that they've taken very seriously all of these threat notifications that have been received by members of public representatives, those who are in public life, and they are investigating it thoroughly, though of course countering the opposition, imputing motive to the government, saying it was the government that was behind these attacks. The opposition, of course, saying that Apple's threat notification clearly states state-sponsored attackers. Yes. Who else could it possibly be? But they've obviously raised this matter with the Home Minister, with the Prime Minister, with the IT Minister, and Moha Moitra even goes on to say that she's going to raise it with Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla as well, because this is a matter of breach of a privilege, and for that, the Privilege Committee should take this up. It should summon Home Ministry officials and ask them what's going on.
Stay with me for a moment. Let's listen in to Union Minister Piyush Goyal once again on government's clarification. I'll also get you what Ashwini Vaishnaw said. And is the opposition satisfied with this? We'll get back to Polami on this. But let's listen in to Piyush Goyal.
While the opposition now is asking a lot of questions, there is a statement which has come from Apple and the BJP very clearly saying that there is no kind of spying that's taking place. Piyush Goyal ji, we are now seeing that there is a clarification which has come from Apple saying that there have been people in 150 countries who have got this alert of sorts. The opposition on the other side is saying, they are alleging that there is some kind of spying taking place from the central government and the Bharatiya Janata Party side.
Well, I think it may be interesting to check up whether somebody in the opposition is responsible for this whole charade in the first place. I think Apple has very clearly said this seems to have happened in a lot of countries. I'm told many people who are unrelated to public life has also been receiving these kind of messages. It's quite ridiculous, the entire message. I read what the message was all about. Some people who received this message went to the Apple ID that is quoted on that so-called message, and it is said that if you go on to appleid.apple.com, you'll find on top of it this warning. But, well, nothing of that sort is found when you go on appleid.apple.com. So I clearly think it looks to be either a malfunction on Apple or some prank somebody is playing. It's complete nonsense that the opposition leaders are trying to propagate. It'll be very interesting to get to the root of the matter. I believe the Honorable Minister has already clarified the statement, has given out the details, and has asked Apple to join the investigation. Doodh ka doodh, pani ka pani ho jayega.
Polami, you've been speaking to opposition leaders after Apple's clarification and Union Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw saying they will look into this matter. They'll ask Apple to join in the probe. Is the opposition satisfied, or does it still believe state agencies mean that it's the Narendra Modi government that ordered this done?
Well, two parts to that, of course. One part is about Apple's statement. Are they satisfied with that? What they are saying is that Apple's statement, which is quite a vague statement, in fact, just confirms what they've said. Because Apple has not denied it, that they did not send out these threat notifications. It only says that it cannot specify where this threat originated. And also, as per their own protocol, they don't want to get into the cause of issuance of these threat notifications, because then it would alert cyber criminals in general as to how Apple detects these threat attempts, these breach attempts. And then, of course, they will evolve for the future so that they are not detectable by Apple's system. So for those reasons, Apple cannot go into the details, but Apple doesn't deny sending out these threat notifications. Of course, it says that it sent out these threat notifications to 100 different countries, users in 100 different countries. So that has been the opposition's position. As far as the central government announcing an investigation is concerned, of course, the opposition has to accept that, because they reached out to the government. They said, they've written to the Prime Minister, they've written to the Home Minister, they've written to the IT Minister. The minister concerned, the nodal ministry concerned, has taken up this issue and has said that it will be investigating it. It has ordered an inquiry. So now, of course, the opposition will have to sit back and wait for that inquiry report. Though, of course, they're not buying arguments like it was an algorithm malfunction for the moment, because then they're asking, how is it that a malfunction targets only opposition MPs for that matter? And that to them is suspicious in nature.
Fair enough. Keep tracking that story. I will come back to you for more. But as Piyush Goyal said, that there are many who are unconnected with either the government or with public life, and they too have received such a notice from Apple. But politics over this alleged Snoopgate against several opposition leaders, it continues to escalate, discarding allegations leveled against the government. Union IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw said that a similar notification was sent out across not one, not two, but 150 countries. He said that Apple has an encrypted and secure system. He lashed out at those who desperately find a reason to criticize, what he termed was a desperate reason to criticize the government. He then went on to suggest that opposition leaders must file an FIR and take up the issue with the service provider, Apple. This development comes after several opposition leaders, including Trinamool Congress Member of Parliament Mahua Moitra, Shiv Sena's Uddhav Thackeray faction MP Priyanka Chaturvedi, and Congress leader Pawan Khera and Shashi Tharoor said they'd received messages from Apple on their phones and emails warning that state-sponsored attackers may be targeting their iPhones. Following this claim, Congress leader Rahul Gandhi slammed the centre and said he was ready to submit his phone for investigation. Apple issued a clarification saying some alerts may be false, adding they cannot provide any specific reason for such alerts.
there are many compulsive critics in our country. Their only and only job is to criticize the government as and when they wake up, as and when they find an opportunity. You must have all seen the advisory issued by Apple. This is a vague advisory. It is based on certain estimations that they have done. Apple has already clarified that their system is, their encryption system is of highest possible order. They have also clarified and issued a statement saying that this kind of advisory has been issued in 150 countries. Friends, these compulsive critics, they have only one habit. Whenever they don't have any major issue, the only thing they'll say is surveillance.
तो ये आपको झूठे भविष्य की का वायदा करते हैं और जो आपका धन है आपके आंखों के सामने आपसे छीन के ले जा रहे हैं। यह हिंदुस्तान की आज सच्चाई है। कम लोग हैं जो इसके खिलाफ लड़ रहे हैं, मगर हम डरने वाले नहीं हैं, हम लड़ने वाले लोग हैं। हम पीछे नहीं हटेंगे। जितनी टैपिंग करनी है कर लो, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता। मुझे तो कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता। अगर आपको मेरा फोन चाहिए मैं दे देता हूं, आपको उठा के ले लो।
एप्पल को प्रोटेस्ट क्यों नहीं करते? एप्पल से बात करें, व्हाट इज दिस मैटर? लेकिन जहां तक मैं अपने अनुभव से कह सकता हूं, कोई भी टेलीफोन कंपनी ऐसा नहीं कहती है। बात समझ गए आप? अगर ऐसा कुछ होता है तो सबसे पहले वो खुद सर्टिन के पास आती है, जो क्विक रिस्पांस टीम है, वहां वो बताती है कि ये कुछ है, इसको देखिए, और उसके बाद होता है। तो यहां तो कमाल है, उन्हीं को मिला और प्रेस में गए। हिम्मत है तो चले जाए, एफआईआर कर दें।
I have been holding the government to account. I'm asking some questions from my government with regards to the Adani corruption or with regards to the Pegasus issue or various other issues that impact the daily lives of our citizens. And it is a well-known fact, it's a well-recorded fact, and it went up to the Supreme Court, the issue of Pegasus, how journalists were being targeted, and it has been, part of investigative stories. This is happening. So it is for them to tell me whether, they will allow me to discharge my duties as a parliamentarian, as a member of the opposition, or they would want to silence every single voice which speaks up against the government. So this is for them, but it is pretty clear that as a vocal opponent, the attack is directed at us, and going by the numbers, sheer numbers of people who are coming forward to say this from the opposition shows this is an attempt at mass surveillance.
Government of India is very clear that freedom of expression, privacy, and all civil liberties must be respected and also protected. That's why those people who are doing illegal acts, working against the interests of the country, they will be complaining about all this thing. We are very clear, we are not like Congress party and other people who will do illegal acts. We follow the rules